"Oh mom, you're getting married." I was so shocked to hear over the phone that my 53-year-old mother was remarrying that I inadvertently threw the comic I was reading. "Yep," she said, laughing shyly. So it's true. Congratulations. We never talked about romance, so this news was more shocking than just being caught off guard. My mother was giggling like a young girl, saying, "Should I tell you about him?" But I quickly refused. The idea of hearing how my mom met this man was too much for me. I've been independent for over 20 years, so I told her to go ahead with a romance and was about to end the call when she said, "Actually, I've decided to retire when I get married. There's a vacancy. Why don't you work there?" She offered me a job at the cleaning company she was leaving, knowing I was unemployed, taking over for my mom. It felt a bit embarrassing, but being shy and not great at socializing, I thought a job as a cleaner, where I could work quietly, might suit me. Well, I'll at least go for the interview. When I said that, my mom cheerfully laughed on the phone, saying, "Okay." She sounded so happy. My name is Sam. My father passed away from an illness when I was in middle school. Being shy, I was often bullied, but my dad was always there to comfort me. He loved collecting comics, even though they were all old-fashioned, but thanks to him, I became a total comic fan. When you're having a tough time in reality, escape to the world of stories. That advice, so typical of a comic fan, probably helped me get through the bullying. So, when he died, I didn't know how to face reality. The grief was too much, even being in the world of stories. But my mom raised me with cheer and encouragement, all by herself. She wasn't particularly beautiful, but she was sociable and well-liked for being meddlesome. Probably, someone fell for her inner qualities. I was surprised to learn she considered remarrying even past her 50s, and here I am, nearly 30, and still without a girlfriend. Reflecting on my situation, I felt a mix of resentment and admiration for her, but I genuinely wanted her to be happy and remarried. I used to work for a cosmetics company, but quit after 5 years due to excessive overtime and being unemployed. During this time, my mom introduced me to her cleaning job, and I went for an interview. It seemed easier than I thought. Easier because it didn't require much communication. It was simple physical work, of course requiring some interaction at first. But once you get the hang of it, a hello here and there is all you need. That's what I thought. Maybe cleaning was the right job for me. Half a year into this new job, I got a call from my mom. I hate to say this since I'm the one who recommended it, but the pay for cleaning isn't great, and I'm worried about your future. My darling suggested, "Why doesn't he work at our place? What do you think?" Not to brag, but my darling's pretty wealthy. Wow, Mom, marrying rich, and what's with darling? It sounds so weird. My mom replied, "Oh, it's just fine, dear," in a tone so of sick it felt like there were about 10 more heart emojis attached to her words. She'd have completely transformed from a mom to a lovesick girl. It's fine for her to be lovey-dovey, but keep that cutesy voice away from my ears. I felt like I was going through a second phase of teenage rebellion. "Stop by our place if you feel like it. He wants to meet you." Well, if I feel like it. I said so and hung up. In the end, I turned down the offer from my mom's darling. It's not that I dislike my mom's darling or anything. I was just embarrassed. They seemed to understand and are patiently waiting for me to show up. So, my refusal was more about not being confident in fitting into a regular company and enjoying the cleaning job my mom got me. However, Joe, the manager, working at the company in the building I clean, is my only source of concern. "Hey, Sam, didn't I tell you to finish today's work by 5 p.m.? I'm sorry, but it was dirtier than I thought, so I wanted to be thorough." Making excuses, just trying to score some overtime pay, right? Geez, there are too many sneaky people like you around these days. No, I was really just Like I'd believe someone with your education. What is this university? Ha, never even heard of it. Joe, the manager, doesn't seem to like me and always talks down to me. He probably looks down on me for being just a cleaner. Maybe he bullies me, someone at the bottom, to reaffirm his own superiority. And he's the worst kind of person, groveling and fawning over those he thinks can benefit him. It's because his shallowness is so transparent that I dislike him. But while I enjoy being a cleaner, I can't say I'm proud of it in public. I feel like my self-esteem is being chipped away little by little here. Sometimes, I think maybe Joe's approach to life, climbing up to manager, is the way to success, and it frustrates me. Yet, I feel I must criticize what Joe is doing in front of me now. Lately, he's been disgustingly fawning over a woman. Man, you are really cute, aren't you? Great figure, sharp eyes. I'm stuck listening to Joe's creepy voice talking about Emily, a woman who occasionally visits this building. Sure, she's strikingly beautiful. I get why Joe would be smitten, but it's clear Emily is not into his advances. Why don't we have dinner sometime? My treat. Dinner, I don't know. Emily was gently turning him down, but this sleazy manager wasn't backing off. His gaze and intentions were clearly dubious. This has been the scene every time Emily visits. While internally cursing Joe, I tried to just ignore whatever he said. I didn't want to lose my job and worry my mom again. But this time, I thought he went too far, so I blurted out, "Joe, actually, I wanted to ask about cleaning on the 4th floor. What? You are still here? I'm not in the mood for." "Oh, are you discussing work? I wouldn't want to interrupt, so I'm leaving." Wait, Emily. It seems that Emily is a very perceptive woman. She quickly picked up on my assist and swiftly left the scene. In other words, she wanted to escape Joe's nearly harassing advances as soon as possible, which I wish Joe would realize, but he just glared at me like a jealous lover, saying, "Hey, low-educated Sam, you're messing things up. I won't let you off easy." Consequently, I faced even more pressure from Joe. Then, an incident happened. Oops. One day, I made a mistake of wet mopping where I should have dry mopped. As I hurriedly tried to wipe up the water, Joe unfortunately slipped there. Ouch. Hey, who's the incompetent fool did this? Suddenly yelled at by the boss, I froze. But I couldn't hide forever, so I stepped forward and he said, You're always a pain. Is this harassment? If you can clean properly, just quit," and kicked a bucket of water on me. The stares of the people in the building, the manager's shouts, the water on my body. I was close to panicking. Just when I thought I might be thrown out, a woman in a suit rushed over, saying, "What are you doing to my brother?" The woman was glaring sharply at Joe. I was surprised to see the woman. It was Emily. "Brother," I muttered in surprise. While wondering how such a delicate girl could be related to me, she said, "I'll report this to my father." Sam is Emily's brother, and what's this about a father? What's going on? Joe seemed to be shaken, perhaps more by Emily's uncharacteristic anger than anything else. "Despite being here so often, you weren't aware. Well, this is who I am." Saying this, she handed him a business card. Anderson Construction Company, President's Secretary. It appears that the business card bore the name of a major client company that do business with this company. Joe's face turned pale as he realized the shocking truth. "Mr. Anderson, Emily's father is, perhaps, as you guessed, my father is the president of Anderson Construction." He probably never dreamed that the woman he was trying to woo was the daughter of a prominent client. It seems he was in a different department and didn't know her name. "You've been quite persistent in your approaches. I'll be sure to bring this to attention." Perhaps Emily's words made him realize the potential loss of business. Or maybe his brain was overloaded with too much information. Either way, Joe fled the scene like a stray dog, without apologizing or explaining. As someone who's always had issues with Joe, I felt a sense of relief seeing him scamper away with his tail between his legs, but I was still puzzled why Emily called me brother. She then apologized to me. "Sorry for suddenly calling you brother." "No, it's fine, but maybe a long-lost sister or something." That was the only conclusion my mind could come to, but Emily chuckled and shook her head. "Actually, I'm your mother's new husband's daughter, so I'm your stepsister." Emily fidgeted with her hands, looking embarrassed. Before I could revel in her cuteness, I tried to make sense of the situation. So my mom married the president of Anderson Construction. To my question, my stepsister nodded emphatically. Mom had mentioned her darling was wealthy, but I had no idea she was marrying someone that influential. I recall now, my mom's new married name was Anderson. I probably should have realized sooner. And then I had to hear about my mom and her darling's romance, something I'd been awkwardly avoiding due to my adolescent-like embarrassment. Apparently, our cleaning company was in charge of Anderson Construction, and that's how my mom met the president, leading to their love story. Emily got along well with my mom, her stepmother, and they even went out for meals together. She had seen my picture from my mom and recognized me as the guy who helped her that day. "When I saw this picture, I realized you were the person who helped me that day. I wanted to thank you when we met today." Her innocent smile warmed my heart. The next day, I was called by CEO Johnson of the company in the building we clean. In his office was a crestfallen Joe, the manager. "Sam, I'm truly sorry. One of our employees has said some offensive things, and I failed to notice. I apologize." CEO Johnson was apologizing for what happened yesterday. He had heard everything from my mother's new husband, the president of Anderson Construction, and had been reprimanded. He had considered ending the business relationship but didn't want to trouble innocent employees. So, he explained that Mr. Anderson wanted me to decide Joe's fate. CEO Johnson said he'd listen to whatever I want to do with Joe. Me, decide his punishment. CEO Johnson said, that is, well, and gave me a knowing look, as if to say, I understand. I realized then. With my mom's remarriage, I had become the son of Anderson Construction Company's president, a significant title. The company didn't want to upset the important son of a major client. In just a few days, I had seemingly climbed to a position where I could dictate personnel decisions in this company. Thanks to CEO Johnson's consideration, I had Joe, my nemesis, at my mercy. Sam, I'm really sorry. Please, please, Joe begged me. His actions were smooth and unhesitating. As soon as he realized I was the son of the CEO, this is how he treated me. At first, I looked at the dejected Joe and thought it was just desserts. But for some reason, I saw my past self, who couldn't do anything when bullied, in him. It reminded me of what my dad used to say when I was bullied. Getting back at someone mean won't make anything better, but returning kindness will surely improve things. So, Sam, be a kind person like your mom. That's how I was raised. I don't wish for Joe's termination. I just want him to stop looking down on others. A person's value isn't determined by education or upbringing. Even so, I like my life the way it is. The last part felt like something I was saying to myself, someone who couldn't fully take pride in being a cleaner. That's right, I haven't done anything to be ashamed of. It was like I was telling myself that, as much as I was telling Joe. My words seemed to hit home, and Joe apologized to me repeatedly. Later, I met with my mom, her new husband CEO Anderson, and his daughter. Emily asked me, would you like to have dinner with us? I want to talk with my brother. How could I refuse such a request with her pleading eyes? So, I had my first meeting with the CEO. I've been wanting to meet you, Sam. CEO Anderson greeted me warmly. holding my hand with a sincerity that didn't feel like a stranger. I felt an instant connection, thinking this man could indeed be family. There were times I felt uneasy about my mom choosing a wealthy man, but her judgment must be sound. During dinner, CEO Anderson praised me for helping Emily and for my magnanimous decision regarding Joe, saying he was proud. His genuine words of praise gave me confidence. I'm grateful to my late father for teaching me valuable lessons and hope for the happiness of my new father and my mom, who raised me single-handedly. I don't care if it's a family wedding or what, but do you think it's acceptable to take a day off on the day of an important client's founding anniversary party? My boss, Catherine, said that as she rejected my request for paid leave. My name is Michael. I graduated from college this year and joined a well-known major food company, famous for its TV commercials, and it's been 6 months since I started. I come from a single-parent family, living with my mom and my older sister. My mother, who works in a restaurant, doesn't earn much, and our family's life was tough when my sister and I were young. My sister, Elizabeth, 5 years older than me, didn't go to high school after finishing middle school. Instead, she got a job at a flower shop to help support our family along with our mother. So, I thought I'd have to work right after middle school, but my sister stopped me. You're smarter than me and you like studying, so make sure you go to college. I'll figure out about the tuition. Thanks to her, she paid for my education and I was able to attend college. That's how I landed a job at a big corporation. Now, she's getting married next month. As her only brother, I absolutely want to attend and celebrate. That's why I begged Catherine, my boss, bowing deeply. Please, it's my sister's wedding. She quit school after middle school to work and support our family, even paying for my college tuition. I really want to celebrate her wedding. But Catherine just sneered and laughed through her nose. Oh, your sister only finished middle school. Must have been quite a pull upbringing to have to work instead of going to high school. Unbelievably, Catherine started looking down on my family. Anyway, it's been decided long ago that everyone in our sales division attends the client's founding anniversary party, especially for newcomers. It's a chance to be remembered, so I can't approve any leave for any reason, she said, and then tore up my leave application. Really, young people these days take their jobs too lightly. She sighed with a stern look in her eyes. Catherine has always been a strong-willed, archetypal female boss, but she seemed particularly unyielding on this matter. Reluctantly, I backed down for the time being. Then, a month later, on the morning of my sister's wedding day, I'm taking the day off after all. I called in. Catherine was furious. Come in now, or I'll fire you. I was yelled at like that, but my decision remained unchanged. What a way to speak. At this point, I don't care if I get fired. I'd rather find a new job than work under such an oblivious boss. But then, my sister, who seemed to have overheard the call, approached me with a worried look. What's wrong? The person on the phone sounded really angry. I could hear it from here. It seemed she heard Catherine's yelling. Actually, there's a company anniversary party today. I explained the situation to her. Her face turned pale. What have you done? Go to work right now and attend a party. Forget about my wedding. But I have the right to take paid leave. I applied a month in advance, even if it clashes with an important party. It's unfair not to be allowed to take leave on such an important day. But if you keep that up, you'll get fired. You just got this job. It's okay. I'm still young and educated. I'll find another job quickly. I reassured her and sent her off to prepare for her wedding. The wedding went smoothly that day. But my phone, set to silent mode, was filled with numerous missed calls from Catherine. The next day, I was called in by both Catherine and our department head, Harrison. "Michael, why did you take an unauthorized leave yesterday?" Harrison immediately said that upon seeing me. "What? I didn't take an authorized leave. I submitted my application a month in advance," but Catherine tore it up. "I also called in the morning of the day." At this, Catherine turned red with anger. "Don't lie, Harrison. I never received any application, nor did I tear it up. I didn't receive any call that day either." I was shocked to be called a liar. Catherine was the real liar. "Then show us your phone call history. If you have nothing to hide, you should be able to show it, right?" Upon being challenged by Harrison, Catherine became indignant. "That's an invasion of privacy. I can't comply." Instead, I showed Harrison the call history on my phone. It had a record of the call I made to Catherine that morning. "Catherine, it seems you're the one lying." Harrison, "But I truly didn't receive any leave application. It's outrageous to call in the morning of the day, knowing you plan to take a leave. Please fire Michael." Catherine, "We can fire a valuable employee for such a reason." Harrison defended me. "That's the way of a major corporation. Not just anyone like Catherine can fire an employee." I breathed a sigh of relief. But from that day on, Catherine's terrible harassment to me began. "You're from a single-parent family, aren't you? No wonder you dress so poorly. I bet your suit is from some cheap discount store. Remember, we're a major corporation. Please dress properly so as not to tarnish our image." She must have found out somehow that my family was a single-parent household and ridiculed me every chance she got. "Your sister probably couldn't get into a decent company either. Poor thing. Poverty seems to run in the family." I was infuriated, not just about the comments about my mother, but my sister too. My sister works at a well-known flower shop. When I retorted that, Catherine turned pale, repeating my words. "That shop? Yes, the one in front of the station." I wondered if she knew it. "Is your sister's name Elizabeth, by any chance?" Catherine guessed my sister's name correctly. "Yes, but do you know her?" "That's it. You're Elizabeth's brother." Catherine seemed not to hear me anymore and started muttering to herself. Then, on the following Sunday night, my sister called me. "Catherine from your company brought a wedding gift to our shop today." Catherine, "Why? Actually, I met her a long time ago." My sister said that and began to talk about what happened back then. It was an incident that happened 5 years ago. My sister was working at the flower shop in front of the city station that day too. With no customers around at that time, my sister looked up at the pedestrian bridge in front of the station. There was a woman there, seemingly lost in thought. The woman didn't move from that spot for 20 minutes. Eventually, she made a motion as if to lean over the railing of the bridge. Below was a wide highway, with large vehicles like trucks speeding by. She was about to jump official. Realizing this, my sister rushed out of the shop, ran up the stairs to the bridge. She then looked into her face from the side and spoke to her gently and calmly so as not to provoke her. "Ma'am, is something bothering you? I'm here to listen if you want to talk, anything at all. Oh, how about we go and have a drink together? I know a great place." My sister, seeing the woman in distress, took her hand and gently pulled her towards herself. She then went straight down the pedestrian bridge and back to the flower shop and told the manager why she was there and asked to be allowed to leave early. The manager graciously agreed. Afterward, my sister took the woman to a nearby pub and treated her a meal and some drinks. The best thing when you're feeling down is to eat something delicious and have someone listen to you. Saying so, my sister listened to her story. The woman, about a decade older than my sister at 35, shared that she had been abandoned by her live-in partner, whom she was planning to marry, leading her to despair. I've been dumped at this age, and now I probably won't ever get married. My life seems utterly hopeless." Saying that, she cried. My sister consoled her empathetically. "I understand how sad and painful it is. I've been through a breakup too. It feels like the end of the world." As my sister showed empathy, the woman argued back. "But you're still young. You have your whole life ahead. I don't have a future anymore." However, my sister continued to encourage her persistently. "No, I don't think so. You're a wonderful person, so age doesn't matter. I am sure that one day you will meet someone who will love you with all their heart." My sister continued to listen to her complaints. Later, they went to another bar, helping the woman to vent her stress. "Thank you so much for today. I feel much better now," she said to my sister as they were leaving. "Whenever you want to relieve stress again, just call me." Saying this, they exchanged contact information, and later, she treated my sister to a meal. Shockingly, that woman was Catherine. However, after that incident, Catherine transferred to Los Angeles and they gradually lost touch. 3 years later, Catherine returned to New York, fell in love with a man she met through work, and got married. Today, she visited my sister's shop and said, "If I had jumped off that bridge back then, I wouldn't have met my husband. I'm happy now thanks to Elizabeth." She then presented my sister with a wedding gift. To think that Catherine was an acquaintance of my sister was surprising. It was surprising to learn that she had such a past. I had only seen her as a strong and confident figure at work. "She was reflecting on the bad things she did to you." My sister said that over the phone. She said she treated you the same way because her boss was tough on her when she was young, but when your boss defended you, she got angry and said a lot of unpleasant things. She's really regretting it now. Even hearing these excuses, I couldn't forgive her for trying to get me fired with lies and for insulting my mother and sister. But the next day, Catherine called me to the conference room. "Michael, I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong." She sincerely apologized to me. After meeting Elizabeth again, I remembered the importance of caring for others. "I've been terrible, trying to do to you what was done to me when I was younger, lying, being sarcastic, and just being the worst." When I remained silent, she continued, "I think Elizabeth told you, but she's my lifesaver. I really regret treating her brother so badly. I can ask for forgiveness, but I intend to change and become better." I had no intention of forgiving her, but I couldn't ignore such a sincere apology. "I was wrong too. Taking a leave without your approval was wrong, but I will never forgive you for mocking my mother and sister." Catherine looked at me as if seeing something amazing. "Michael, you really care about your mother and sister." "Of course, I was able to go to college thanks to them." "That's wonderful. I'm truly sorry for how I spoke about them. Let me treat you tonight. How about we go for a drink? Oh, why don't you invite Elizabeth too?" So, I reluctantly agreed, and that night, Catherine, my sister, and I went for drinks at a pub near the office. Catherine shared various stories about her younger days at the company. Catherine was discriminated against by her then manager, Harrison, just because of her gender, and treated harshly. She had been looked down upon a lot, such as "just because you're a woman or women are always like that." At that time, Harrison was particularly focused on a client, and when Catherine's grandmother passed away, the funeral clashed with the client's founding anniversary party. When Catherine asked for paid leave, Harrison was furious. "If you take leave, you'll be fired." Upon hearing that, she tearfully attended a party instead of her beloved grandmother's funeral. Because of such experiences, Catherine, now a supervisor, ended up doing the same thing to me, her subordinate. It was the worst way of thinking, doing to others what was done to me. I should have taken it as a lesson of what not to do. Seeing Elizabeth after so long made me feel ashamed of what I was doing. "Understood, Catherine. Realizing it is what's important. My sister said that and comforted Catherine. Looking at my sister, Catherine said, "I didn't know, but it was wrong of me to mock someone as good as you." Then I told her, "Learn from this and never judge or look down on people based on their education or family background, no matter who they are." Catherine then shrugged her shoulders in embarrassment. I've reflected on it. I won't do it again. Since then, Catherine stopped being harsh to me. She became known for being kind not just to me, but to all the employees. And sometimes, Catherine, my sister, and I would go out for drinks together. Thus, Catherine and I, while being supervisor and subordinate, built a good relationship without any awkwardness.